Good morning and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show. This is your daily dose of freedom. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I appreciate all of you that were able to watch me on Chris DeGaule's show this week. Many of you reached out or followed me on social media. Thank you so much for that. We got so much to get to. I can't believe it in just one day's period of time that I want to go over with you as quickly as I possibly can. Probably won't be able to get it all in. So I do want to encourage all of you that might be tuning in, please be sure to go to our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show. Like, share, subscribe, and please leave a comment. We will try to get back to you. And so we would certainly appreciate that. Also, all things social media at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. We're on X, Instagram, and Facebook. But please be sure to press the like button, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so much to get to, so little time to do so. I mean, there's so much news going on today, even just since I was on with you guys yesterday. It is absolutely insane. Let me tell you some of the things that we're going to cover. Obviously, Vice President JD Vance is headed to Pakistan to try to iron out this U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal. I explained to you on Chris DeGaule's show yesterday why I don't believe that's going to be or why that's going to be an impossibility. And that's because you have what are known as 12ers, these Shia Muslims that believe in the that the 12 Ahmadi, that the 12, I barely know how to explain it. I shouldn't say I barely know how to explain that thing, but they basically, like 12 disciples. Jesus had 12 disciples. You have a movement of Islamists and the Shia movement that believe that basically the Mahdi is Jesus Christ. He's been all these other Muslim prophets have died. They passed away, 11 of them, but there's 12. There's 12. So one remains hidden and he's to be revealed. And he's only going to be revealed through chaos, through destruction. So the more chaos, the more death, the more destruction these people can cause, they can cause this Mahdi, their savior, if you will, to reappear. And so these people are religious fanatics. They're ideologues. That's why I don't believe the ceasefire will hold. But we'll get into that. Also, Artemis 2, the reentry. Pray for our astronauts, all of these guys that are returning, and Gal and Christina Koch that are returning hopefully today, this evening. We would certainly, I know they would appreciate your prayers for a safe return, because this is a very dangerous part of the journey, the reentry into back into Earth's atmosphere and all of the heat that takes. We're going to get into Mamdani, and I'm going to focus on this primarily today, Mamdani's equity plan. And this is the reason why this show is titled, Don't Be Mamboozled. I don't know if that's the greatest word, but I'm creating a new word. But don't be mamboozled by Democrat policies. We get so focused on the day-to-day, all of the daily news headlines and so on, et cetera, that we lose sight of who's going to really fight for you when they get in office. And guys, I understand, and I'm not going to minimize the fact that gas prices are higher, food prices are higher right now. But we also know that President Trump has been able in his administration to bring all of those prices down. And we know the X factor right now is the Iranian conflict. And guys, I just think we're in too deep to end this thing. So I think we got to finish it off. The Strait of Hormuz is a big problem. I think we have to make sure that isn't a problem going forward. Iran should not be allowed. Iran should not be allowed to control the Strait of Hormuz and disrupt global energy prices, because that is their leverage. Despite the fact that we have killed most of their leadership, despite the fact that we have killed many of their soldiers, the leverage that they have remains the fact that people trade oil on the global market. And that stinks for us, because even though we have an abundant supply right here in the United States of America, even though we don't need the Strait of Hormuz, quite frankly, the fact that we have to sell our oil in the global market impacts our oil prices here as well. So the terrorists, the Islamic regime that still exists, the mullahs, the Basij, the IRGC, that appear to be the ones that are running the campaign in Iran right now, cannot be allowed to maintain control of the Strait of Hormuz. They didn't offer a 10-point plan, but they did offer a 10-point plan. It was something that never changed. And there were fake reports out there in media saying that President Trump was going for it. He is not going for it. He never was going for it because their plans didn't change. And I shared those with you yesterday. But basically, what they wanted is the closure of all U.S. military bases in the Gulf region. They also insisted on the ability for to be able to collect fees through the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump is like, no, no, no. Guarantees that the war won't restart and anti-Israel strikes on Hezbollah. And they're saying that's a major holdup, despite the fact that Hezbollah attacked Israel. And guys, this is a red herring in my point. I don't even like the fact that JD Vance and even the president are arguing this point when it comes to Israel and Hezbollah. That's Israel's war to fight. In my opinion, that is none of our business. Hezbollah attacks Israel. Israel should be able to go and bomb the bejeebers out of them without us having a word or say in it. And why is Iran worried about what's happening in Lebanon? Except that they want to continue their terrorist proxies, which tells us everything we need to know about these Islamic terrorists. All right. So anyway, I'm just giving you a synopsis of the show, guys. I'm going to get into the Mamdani thing, and I'm going to iron these out. But these are just a synopsis. Is it time to rethink NATO? I think it is. I mean, President Trump is mad, and he's vowing to basically get back at some of these people, some of these NATO countries that have basically abandoned the United States of America. Would they have preferred a heads up? I understand that they would have preferred a heads up when it came to the attack on Iran. I get that, but nonetheless, we have bases that we're paying for in some of these European nations, and they don't want us to use the bases that we're paying for, and those bases are there to help protect them from Russia. Adios, sayonara. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. We should find another place to put our bases, perhaps, or we should make it. I'm just not sure this NATO allegiance is going to work anymore. Right now, Israel has proven to be the best ally for the United States of America. You have Gulf state regions that are now willing to work with the United States of America, and perhaps some of these NATO countries are going to have to try to get in where they fit in. California Medicaid fraud and high-speed rail fraud. We'll get into that as part of the Don't Be Mamboozled by Democrats, because regardless of how bad you think things are right now, you look at Iran, you look at what's happening in Iran. And this is for some of you that maybe you're a moderate, maybe you're in the middle, and you're like, I don't think we need to be there. But the truth of the matter is we do. And actually, I think the Strait of Hormuz makes that point. We should have never allowed Iran, anyone in the world, should have never allowed Iran to dictate who passes through the Strait of Hormuz and not, or not. That's just absolutely insane. All right. So remember who got us there. I did a podcast earlier this week. I hope you were able to check it out, where I broke down the reasons why we're in Iran are mainly due to Democratic failures, from Jimmy Carter to Barack Obama to Joe Biden. And I outlined all of the things that they did to actually embolden terrorists in the Middle East, particularly the world's leading state sponsor of terror in Iran. And so I believe that ties to us domestically, financially as well. And again, we're feeling that with the Strait of Hormuz, which tells me if we're going to trade oil on the global market, the Strait of Hormuz should never and can never be an issue. So we have to make sure that anyone in the Iranian regime that remains that are trying to leverage us or control us through the Strait of Hormuz needs to die. They need to go bye-bye. All right. It's as simple as that. There's a leaker that's been arrested, a military leaker that has been arrested, that has been sharing military secrets. Absolutely disgusting. We'll get into that. Some left-wing nonsense, more of the LGBTQ barbecue community stuff that's happening. I want to share that with you. But again, the theme for today's show is don't be mamdoozled by Democrats, because the bottom line is if Democrats get back in office, they're going to pull a Mamdani. Did you know that New York City Mayor Mamdani has now come out? Remember the free bus rides he said he was going to give to everybody? Oh, sorry, we're not going to do that. All these things we're going to pay for. Oh, we can't do that unless we tax the bejeebers out of people. And so we're going to get into that. Abigail Spanberger, the newly elected Virginia governor, has the lowest approval ratings, I believe, amongst governors, at least amongst the governors in Virginia in modern history already, because now the normies are finding out, wow, this chick completely lied to us. And remember, the only reason she's in office, besides the fact that sadly, and I forget the name of the lady that ran against her, and I liked her. I thought she would have made a fantastic governor, but she ran a horrible campaign. Speaking of the black military woman, and forgive me, I forget her name right now, but she just ran a horrible campaign, even her debates. didn't focus on economics enough. And the Democrats were using a shutdown at that time to squeeze the Trump administration and to make because you had a lot of government workers that were getting laid off or cuts, Doge and all that kind of stuff. They were feeling the effects in parts of Virginia. And then along with the shutdown, that Democrats stretched out and squeezed a lot of those government workers, some that were normies, went out and voted for this Abigail Spanberger, and they're already regretting it because she's going to tax the bejeebers out of her. Energy prices are already rising. That's what Democrats will do to you. They will pull a Spanberger. They will pull a Danny. And so do not fall for them. So when we get back, I want to talk about what's happening with JD Vance, what to expect from this ceasefire negotiations that are going to be happening in Pakistan. And then I want to go through Ma'am Danny's new home. What is it? His equity, what is it? His racial equity plan. So we'll go through that momentarily. You are listening to the Carl Jackson Show. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. We'll be back. I want to tell you guys about MyPillow real quickly. Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank all of you for your great support this past year. They're looking to make 2026 the best year yet. As a thank you to my listeners, MyPillow is exclusively offering free shipping on your entire order. Wow. And at wholesale pricing, that means they are bringing back the mega sale exclusively for my listeners. That's pretty cool. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98 and now are marked down to $14.98. Wow. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow, mattress topper, and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Carl, that is CARL, or call them at 800-858-0263. These offers won't last long, so please call 1-800-858-0263 today. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Carl. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. And I'm going to ask you, for those of you that may be watching the podcast, don't forget that part of this podcast airs on the Salem News Channel over the weekend. And so when you watch our show on the Salem News Channel over the weekend, you will see that not all of the segments make it onto that particular programming. So again, like, share, subscribe, comment here at our YouTube channel. We will certainly appreciate that. Wherever you go to get your podcast, The Carl Jackson Show is where you can find us. And for those of you that might just watch on the Salem News Channel over the weekend, make sure you subscribe to our podcast so you can see you can see and hear, frankly, everything that we're talking about, and you don't get the more edited version. All right, so now, having said that, I want to play a clip for you. This is something that I just wanted to react to because I want you to understand how bat crazy the Democrat Party is, and what they like. All the Democrats can run on at this point in time, and they're going to continue to run on that, is hating Trump. But hating Trump isn't going to bring down the price of your groceries. Oh, and this is what I'm about to play, the LGBTQ barbecue community. They can run on, trans issues, gay issues. I don't know how that's going to help your pocketbook. I don't know how that's going to make you feel safer. What the Republicans are doing, and again, we have some feckless Republicans in Washington, D.C. There is no doubt about it. But at least they're common sense, at least for the most part, they're fiscally responsible. Not necessarily in Washington, D.C. as much as I would like, but at least their policies are more fiscally responsible so that you can have more money in your pocketbook. And I know it doesn't feel like it now, but if you just go back a month and a half ago, remember grocery prices were coming down. Gas prices were down, and they were for a good period of time until we went into this Iran conflict. This Iran conflict will end, and I guarantee you that it will end shortly. I don't think this will be an issue when it comes to November's elections. But without that, without any further ado, I want to run clip number 47, because besides hating Trump, this is what you have to look forward to. Your prices aren't going to go down. They're not going to get any cheaper. Man, Danny ran on that. Affordability. Spanberger in Virginia ran on that. They're raising taxes. Everything is going to become even more expensive, despite the fact that you're already feeling the pain at the pump. All right. Despite the fact that you're already feeling the pain in the grocery stores, Democrats are running on affordability. But when they get in, they're actually upping the ante and taxing the bejeebers out of you. You got to remember that. But cut number 47, here's what else Democrats have to offer. And I just want to react to that. Cut 47, please, Gabe.
When the budget was released, I was shocked to find out that Prime Minister Carney is cutting $7 billion between Indigenous Services Canada and Crown Indigenous Relations. They provided $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2S LGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent. This is callous. This is callous because the very Liberal government that has stripped organizations of life-sustaining funding has now committed $13 billion. $13 billion on military spending. Who is paying for it? Indigenous women across this country, Indigenous women, girls to us, LGBTQIA+, are not safe. In fact, rates of violence are increasing. And what is the Prime Minister doing? He is turning a blind eye on this violence. You know, the Prime Minister talks a lot about projects of national interest. What is in the national interest are the lives, safety, security, and dignity, not in the national interest of Indigenous women and girls to us LGBTQIA+.
Guys, I realize this is Canada. But we have the same crazies right here in the United States of America. And you guys had to be thinking what I was thinking when you watched this video. You had to be thinking what I was thinking. As a matter of fact, I know you were. When that lady just fluently read off, I have to read the notes. MMIWG2SLGBTQIA plus community. And she did it with no pause, with no hesitation. She didn't even have to think about it. This is this lady's life. The only thing that came to mind, or the first thing that came to mind, I'm sure like many of you, was, thank God this lady wasn't a gangster in LA having to throw up gang signs. I don't know how she would have done it. That's insane. That's insane. But that's what Democrats are offering. Hate Trump and a bunch of crazy nonsense worried about what's between your legs and gender dysphoria. I mean, it's just insane. This is the left, whether they're in the United States of America, whether they're in Canada. This is the left. This is all they have to offer. Hate Trump, run on affordability, but don't don't accomplish that goal. Oh, and let's make sure that we're focused on identity politics, the color of your skin, and what's between your legs. Okay. So anyway, moving on. All right, let's get to these issues. We got a lot to get to in a very short period of time. Again, just real quickly, the Artemis 2 reentry, that is going to be a big story. I mean, this is, and I spoke about it earlier in the week, but I mean, this is just a huge story. I hate the fact that you have so many conspiracy theorists out there, or so many people that are just, I just love the fact that I love the fact that we are seeing American exceptionalism unfold again. We're seeing that with our U.S. military. Frankly, we're seeing that with Discovery, and I do think it's worth it. And it saddens me that we have so many conspiracy theorists out there and so many people that just seem to be rooting against America. Guys, America needs to be the number one country in the world. It needs to be the hegemony. We are the city on the hill. We are the light on the hill, and that's because of our Judeo-Christian values, and we shouldn't abandon those. I want to make sure. Let me pull something up here on my laptop, but just to speak of Artemis 2, because this is going to be one of the most dangerous parts of the mission, obviously, the reentry point. So let's see. Let me scroll down here. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. Now, for some reason, I can't find it. Okay. All right. Anyway, continue to pray for our astronauts as they return into Earth's atmosphere. I just think this is so cool. And I love the fact that they're not woke. I love the fact that Christina Koch and Victor Glover, and I hate to single them out, but the media was focused on them, obviously, because you got a female, because you got a black guy, and they don't appear to be woke, and they're not there because they're DEI hires. These people are extremely qualified. Victor Glover did so many flight missions It is absolutely insane, both in space and on aircrafts, military aircrafts. The same is true with the guy that's in control of the mission, and I forget his name, Lee Reisman. And then this lady, Christina Koch, I mean, she's just a bad behind in her own right. I mean, she's traveled in space or spent more time in space more than any of the guys combined. It's absolutely, it's just insane to me. I mean, it's really cool. All right. So now, having said that, let me share this with you. Okay, so let's get to the issue of Mamdani. Oh, and I got to speak about JD Vance. Actually, let me start there. Let me start with JD Vance. The Hill had a piece, and a good piece, just a synopsis, what you can be looking for. So JD Vance, obviously JD Vance is a skeptic in the White House when it comes to the Iranian conflict, but he's loyal to President Trump. But he's going to be traveling to Pakistan, or actually he is traveling to Pakistan with Jared Kushner and with Steve Witkoff. And they're going to try to secure a ceasefire deal. Things have been shaky, as I said earlier, because not Hezbollah, but the IRGC, who are basically running Iran right now, are blaming Israel. I mean, it's always blame the Jews, right? Despite the fact that these are terrorists, despite the fact that Iran should have nothing to do with Lebanon. The Lebanese government is saying, no, we're going to work with Israel independently to get rid of Hezbollah. I mean, that is fascinating. And of course, the IRGC can't stand that because they're a bunch of terrorists. And so this is what we're dealing with there. So you have JD Vance again, that's going to be traveling to Iran with Steve Witkoff, and with Jared Kushner. They said at this point, this was according to the Hill, that Iran has not even officially announced its delegation. The state media has reported that the country's parliamentary speaker, Mohammed Bajer, I can't pronounce his name, Ghalibaf, and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi are expected to attend. The talks will be unique because of the absence of Iran's former top leaders who were killed as a result of the U.S. operation. So basically, we've killed everybody. So now we're working with hardliners that are part of the IRGC. And again, the only leverage that they have is the Strait of Hormuz. Now, there's polling out that was released from the Economist YouGov. It found that only 34% of Americans strongly support the war, while 53% oppose it or the conflict. The same polls showed, however, that 67% of Republicans said they supported the war, while 21% said they opposed it. So the good news about this is you still have Republican support. The bad news, the normies aren't supporting it. The good news is the normies are concerned about the economy. So we need to win this conflict decisively, get the Strait of Hormuz open, and all of that will change. When we get back, we'll take on Mamdani. Okay, welcome back to the program. You are listening to The Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of freedom. Also, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies, because we believe in the objective truth of the Bible. All right. We have a biblical worldview here. I don't hide that. I don't shy away from that. And so this is why I want to get to this equity plan from Mamdani that isn't going to work. And also, I got more news to bring to you, too. Democrats are scrambling to campaign with this terrorist groupie, this guy, Hassan Piker. These guys are anti-Semites. These guys run on affordability and completely lie about it, and then they hike up your taxes. Listen to the latest. And we've got all of the scandal that is brewing up in California that I will get to momentarily as well. All right, so check this out. I believe this is from the New York Post. So you got New York City Mayor Mamdani. This guy is trying to fix racial oppression by being racially oppressive. So this is what he came out with this week. And I believe we have cuts on this. Actually, let's play cut number 17, Gabe. Let's play cut number 17, por favor. Again, this guy is trying to fix housing inequity. Cut 17. I'm sorry.
And while today's true cost of living measure confirms that the affordability crisis touches every corner of our city, we know that these effects are not applied evenly. So often, it is black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest. This preliminary racial equity plan is the first step in developing a whole of government approach to tackling that reality. It is a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination, and it places the work of 45 city agencies within a singular framework.
Okay. I want you guys to pick up on something. First off, so brown people are disadvantaged in New York City. Who's running New York City? Who's been running New York City? Look at the cast of characters that were surrounding Mamdani. These are the people, they happen to look black and brown to me. These are brown, whatever. These are the people that are running New York City. This is a complete and utter joke. Not to mention, if you're talking about a racial equity plan, if I'm somebody that does not fit the mold and I'm being discriminated against, and I have money that I accumulated by working hard, because the vast majority of people that are wealthy today, it has nothing to do with being a Nepo baby like Mamdani happens to be. Most people, this guy's clueless. That's why New York City is worse off already, and it's going to be even worse off by the time that this thing is done. People are going to be begging for mercy, or at least I hope so. And if they're not begging for it, then they deserve exactly what they get. But the people are going to flee. People with a brain, people with the white people that have money, unless you're a white liberal chick, you're going to flee. You're not going to rob me blind because of the color of my skin and because I happen to work hard and do good for myself. And then you liberals get in and you waste money. You don't steward the taxpayers' money well. Your city stinks. Your city is dirty. Your city is violent, and your city is full of commies. Why would I stay there? That hate entrepreneurship, that hate business, that hate success. Why would I stay there? This guy is going to be a disaster. He already is. All right. So racism is his fix, though. He said, and while today's true cost of living measure confirms that the affordability crisis touches every corner of our city, we know that these effects are not applied evenly. And that's what he said there. Again, this is an equity plan. He says he said that the city has a history of colonization, exploitation, and racial oppression. Again, who's running the city? To make up for it, he announced his equity plan that includes a lot of exploitation and racial oppression. So he's going to fix racial oppression with racial oppression. He went on to say, so often it is a black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest, which you heard there. This preliminary racial equity plan is a first step in developing, he says, a whole of government approach to tackling that reality. It's a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination by Democrats. By Democrats. These people are going to rob you blind. Now, the good news is the DOJ is on the case, because racial discrimination is racial discrimination. Racial oppression is racial oppression. This is why I encourage you guys, don't buy into the word colored people or the term colored people. Basically, it's all it is a tactic to exclude white Americans. Guys, we are in America. What sets us apart is our Constitution. That's what makes us unique. That's why people bombard our borders to come here and be a part of the American experience, and that, or the American experiment. And the American experiment is you pledge allegiance to the United States of America despite where you come from, and you become an American citizen. This is why birthright citizenship is so dangerous too. You can't just let anybody into this country. They need to pledge allegiance to this country. They need to assimilate to this country, because we're not like other countries that are largely homogenous. All people look the same. We're not that way. Europe is no longer that way, or lots of parts of Europe. They used to be. But we're not that way. We intentionally did things differently here. No matter where you come from, no matter what you look like, no matter what background whatever background you have, when you get here, or if you are here, you're an American citizen. You're an American first. These people don't subscribe to that. They don't believe that. So all this racial divisiveness and all this stealing from taxpayers. Hey, I don't care if prices are higher. It doesn't matter. The black people, Latino people can get ahead just as much as the next guy. I know plenty of black successful people, plenty of Latino successful people, far more successful than I am. that are doing just fine because you've got opportunity in the United States that you don't have anywhere else. And it's a shame that these people are trying to make this a third world country. Now, let me tell you something else about Democrats, because I don't want you to be mamboozled by these people, as I am saying. So these people are scrambling. Here's what they lost with Trump in 2024. They lost the young white man. They're trying to get the young white man back, and they don't know where to go. So they've been going to this guy, Hassan Piker. The communists are running the Democrat Party. The Mamdanis, the Spambergers of the world, the AOCs, Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, you got Senator John Ossoff. All of these people have appeared on this guy, Hassan Piker. This guy is, Hassan Piker is a podcaster, basically has 4 million followers between YouTube and Twitch. He is a vehement anti-Semite. He said that the United States deserved 9/11. I don't even know if his mother was still wiping his butt during. These people are clueless. They don't know what they're talking about. They just blame the Jews, blame the Jews, blame the Jews. And for some reason, Democrats feel compelled because he has so many YouTube subscribers, because he is a younger guy. I guess Democrats feel compelled to go on his show. So you're getting, if you hire Democrats again in 2026 and in 2028, you're going to get Democrats that claim they're running on affordability, claim they want to make your life better, but they don't do that. Again, Mamdani, hey, we got an equity plan. We've got to tax white people more in order to redistribute the wealth, despite the fact that white people hurt too. There's poor white people too. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. And we've got to cozy up to communists and cozy up to Jew haters like Hassan Piker. You got one sensible Democrat that said, a Democrat from Michigan, who is also vying for the Democrat Senate nomination. Where is this at? He's accused al-Said of intentionally bringing in someone with a reputation for spreading anti-Semitic rhetoric. So let me give you the background. There's this guy, I believe he's running in Michigan. Let me just read this. Hassan Piker, who boasts over 4 million followers between YouTube and Twitch, has hosted AOC, Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, and endorsed Senator John Ossoff, and is set to campaign with Democratic Michigan senatorial hopeful Abdul Said. So Abdul al-Said, this guy was caught on video, or at least on audio, basically saying that he was mourning, and he understands the people that are mourning the death of the Ayatollah Khamenei, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, a murderous dictator. He was mourning him. These are the people. This guy is saying, El Said is saying, yeah, we need to embrace people, the Hassan Pikers, the anti-Semites of the world. And they're doing it because they feel like this is the way to reach younger voters. The problem is the Democrats that are doing it are all communists. They're all anti-Semites. And so this is where your party is going. Communists are not going to lower your taxes and make life more affordable. They're going to make your life miserable. The Bulwark's Tim Miller and Sarah Longwell debated whether or not the Democrat Party would be wise to embrace Piker. Here's some of the things Piker has said. If you cared about Medicare fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. On landlords who choose not to rent properties, kill the MFers. Let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. Hezbollah, I think, as a resistance group, they're pretty successful. So he wants them to kill Jews. I don't have an issue with them. America deserved 9/11. I do not support the USA. Overall, my favorite flag is Hezbollah. This is the podcast Democrats are going on to win your votes. Hassan Piker closed his Stanford speech by framing the U.S. as the belly of the beast. Stanford have them? Urging students to use their position inside to fight the system, warning of techno-fascist danger, and ending with Free Palestine. These people are nuts. All right, you are listening to the Carl Jackson Show. All right, welcome back to the program. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, just a reminder to please like, share, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. Also, wherever you go to get your podcast, The Carl Jackson Show. All things social media at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. If this segment happens to make it on a SNC, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see our entire podcast, because we're sending you segments for the Salem News Channel. So we've been talking about this issue. Don't get mamboozled. Democrats have no plans to make life more easier, more affordable for you. They have no plans to make life safer for you. Right? Who's running the Democrat Party now are a bunch of Marxists, a bunch of communists. And these people definitionally have to take wealth from you. That's what they do. That's what they're going to do. That's why they just want to bamboozle you. That's why Mamdani ran on affordability. That's why Spamberger ran on affordability and Virginia. And yet once they get in, their policies, they do the complete and utter opposite. They have no intention of making your lives better. They have every intention of controlling you. It's what they want to do with birth. That's why they want birthright citizenship. That's why they want open borders. This is about control. They want the federal money they'll get. They want the more House seats they'll get. They want to be in perpetual power. Illegal aliens help them to do that. You have to get that. You have to understand that. These people have no intention of making your life better. And the guy that's probably or could be the candidate in 2028, I'm not sure if it will be as more comes out, and his wife is just a total nut, in my opinion. Speaking of Gavin Newsom, and more will continue to come out about him. And maybe he won't be, but listen, this is what we have. This is what we have going on in California. We got Medicaid fraud or Medi-Cal fraud, $270 million. Then that's been exposed. You're talking about one case, and we'll play some video for you in just a second here. So federal prosecutors say an Orange County man used California's Medi-Cal system to run nearly $270 million. This is according to redstate.com in fraudulent billings through the state's Medicaid program, collecting more than $178 million before he was caught. Guys, he did this in 11 months. Can you imagine making $178 million in 11 months? How was it so easy for him to do this? Because Democrats in California don't do anything. I don't even think they care, frankly. Because sometimes I wonder if they dole out this money knowing that people will take advantage of it. Also, the most connected hospice doctor in California, according to CBS, physicians who oversee hospice clinics deliver a critical and delicate form of care to patients confronting terminal illness. Now this one goes on, but basically this guy just bamboozled a lot of people, took a lot of money. So anyway, we'll play some video for you because that one was a little too lengthy to get into for the sake of time restraints. Let's play a couple of cuts here. Let's go to cut number 20, actually cut number 19 and then cut number 20 real quick, please, Gabe.
I think that the California high-speed rail nightmare is the probably quintessential example of government waste and mismanagement.
You say this needs to stop.
Needs to stop.
Congressman pause this. I'm sorry. Pause this for just a second. I apologize. Whatever clip that was, just continue with it afterwards. So we got Medicaid fraud or Medi-Cal fraud. We've got hospice fraud, and we've got high-speed rail fraud, probably high-speed rail fraud in California. You had a program, a high-speed rail that was supposed to cost less than $10 billion to build. Now they're up to $125 billion or something like that they're asking for. Go ahead and roll that, please, Gabe.
I think that the California high-speed rail nightmare is the probably quintessential example of government waste and mismanagement.
You say this needs to stop.
Needs to stop.
Congressman Vince Fong, a Republican from Bakersfield, sits on the House Transportation Committee. He says that when California voters first approved high-speed rail, the promise and price tag were more marketing campaign than realistic projection.
We're now in 2026. There are no trains. There's no track laid. It's a complete bait and switch.
If I vote for a mansion in Malibu by next year and someone says, actually, you know what, in 5 years we're going to have a doghouse in Modesto, how do things go so off the rails?
The business plan that was put out in 2008 was very theoretical. This is what we think is going to happen, and it became very clear that they didn't have the specifics worked out.
They didn't have the specifics worked out, but they took taxpayer money to start building a rail a rail station that literally is not being built. With the exception, I guess, of starting it, because you saw that in the video. But they've gotten nowhere. I had the notes in front of me, and now I don't know where the notes when I have so many notes in front of between my firmly fingerprinted fingertips that it's hard to keep up with them. Oh, also, let me share this before we go on, and then I want to get back to the Medicaid fraud, but I want to make sure that we deal with this because we do have a leaker. And honestly, you guys remember that last week, President Trump came out and said we had a leaker when it came to the rescue of our U.S. airmen. We had one of the airmen from the F-15E that had ejected, and I think he was rescued within hours. The other was closer to 48 hours. Oh, and the news is the way that they found this guy, the CIA was able to use technology to find his heartbeat. What? In a mountainous region, there's no place our enemies can hide, given that information. That's American exceptionalism, guys. That is insane. Pretty creepy, but I'm glad we have it to use against our enemies. Also this, a former Army employee, this is from CBS, was arrested and charged with allegedly leaking classified information about a covert military force to a reporter. According to court documents until Wednesday, earlier this week, federal prosecutors allege in a criminal complaint that Courtney Williams of Wagram, North Carolina, divulged classified information to an unnamed reporter between 2022 and 2024 about her time in Delta Force, a U.S. Army special military unit. You got to be kidding me. According to the complaint, Williams worked for the Army between 2010 and 2016 after serving as a contractor and previously enlisting and held a top secret security clearance. Williams left in 2016 after investigators said she had her access to classified information suspended, quote, based on an internal investigation, close quote, conducted in 2015 and 2016. She is charged with one count of illegally communicating or transmitting national defense information, which is punishable by up to 10 years in prison if convicted. Court records show she was arrested this week and was ordered to be temporarily detained in jail ahead of a preliminary hearing on April 13th. I had to get that in. That's absolutely insane. You've got our military men and women sacrificing their lives for our freedom, and you've got this leaker. Frankly, I don't think the punishment is great enough. I'm going to play a couple more clips for you. Whatever. I think we played cut 19, Gabe. Let's play 20, or if we play 20, let's play cut 19. Whichever one we didn't play.
As we speak
20.
right now, are the funds there to complete LA to San Francisco?
The entire amount of money we need, not there today. But do we believe we can get those funds to get the project done? Absolutely.
How much do you estimate it's going to cost to connect high-speed rail San Francisco to LA?
Today, we estimate with the right optimization, just over $125 billion. I think $126 billion is the current estimate for that.
That's more funding than Amtrak has received in its history. And still,
they went from less. We can cut that.
90.
I just want to. This is what Democrats do with your money. And actually, I want to play cut 49, Gabe. I have the wrong cut, but nonetheless, it's just important. High-speed rail going to nowhere. They haven't been able to complete the job with less than $10 billion that it was projected to cost. And now they want over $120 billion in California to complete this highway robbery is what I should call it, or this rail. You got to be insane. Let's go to cut number 49. This is on the Medi-Cal fraud. Cut 49.
We're here today to announce the results of a massive hospice fraud bust in Los Angeles County, and it's called Operation Skip Trace. Operation Skip Trace uncovered and ended a hospice fraud scheme that defrauded Medi-Cal of $267 million. So just to be clear, $250 million. Over. Funds that are paid for by Californian taxpayers, funds that are meant to provide care to Californians in need. It is unacceptable, it is illegal, and we will not stand for it.
What do you do? What do you do with this? I mean, seriously, can you imagine how much money could be saved? How many people could legitimately be helped in California if this money wasn't being wasted? The same is true. I don't even believe that. I'm not talking about the layman. I'm not talking about the voter. But I don't even believe that Democrat politicians have good intentions in mind anymore. I think they want to sound smart. I think they want to sound as if they're helpful, sound as if they're compassionate. And yet when they get in office, they have no clue what to do because they haven't run businesses. They haven't run budgets. They just want to sound good. And it's destroying our nation. Do not make the mistake of voting for Democrats because you will be bamboozled in the end. Till next time, do not grow weary doing good. God bless you.